Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Langsharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. We are talking all about our Gold Midwifery Online Conference 2025. It's coming up really soon here, and I'm excited to be sitting down with so many amazing guests, including Illiyin Morrison. Thank you so much, Illiyin, for being back with us here at Gold. And you know that you're back by popular demand. People were requesting for you. They love what you speak to. And so I really am, I'm excited to be here. There is a demand for this topic. And I'm just going to tell people what it is. The power of reflection, effective birth debriefing for better outcomes. It is so good to have you here, Illiyin. I know you've been very busy, as always, but tell me a little bit about, what's been happening in your world when it comes to this topic and, what you've been doing with it in terms of educating.
Yeah, so it's great to be back. Over the past year, I suppose this kind of work has really evolved for me. As with any job, and I think it's how we should always perceive it, it's continuous learning. So for me, it's constantly through sessions, through further education, I'm seeing that there are gaps. These are things that we need to explore a little bit further. And there are also connections in things. So what I started doing over the last year was offering a service for grief debriefing as well, using the same framework as I use for birth debriefs, because birth and death are so closely linked, not only in a physical way, but also in a mental way, and how we are impacted by birth and also by loss. And when it came to looking at grief in the context of debriefing, it was actually, we lose so much, particularly around that perinatal period, whether it is our identity, whether it's our physicality, whether it's our sense of self. And also we're entering into new roles, whether it's mothering the first time, parenting second or third time. So there was so many things that were connected. And I realized that actually, this is a whole world, and actually debriefing generally, it should be for every occasion in our lives. And so I've had a lot of success with, bringing in that grief element as well. And that's what I think has been amazing about this work, is that once you delve into it, you realize how applicable it is to so many different areas, not only maternity, but also mothering, parenting, and loss. So, it's been a real year of evolution for me, and I'm excited to share.
Wow. I as I'm listening to you, of course, my brain is going, wow, wow, wow. But literally, I can relate to this, and I'm sure many people can. That's why it's become so, popular, in the essence of, birth and grief, or birth and death, that we're seeing, the impact that it has on the human heart and soul. And I had a deep loss recently in my life, so I can definitely see the parallels. And then beyond that, the importance of debriefing, like you said, almost everything, any life-changing, every event. And sometimes I think big or small, right? Because we're talking about different traumas that are, they might relate differently to individuals, correct?
Yeah. And I think, it's also different circumstances. There are people who are struggling with things happening in the world, the overload of information, how to process things, family dynamics breaking up due to political views. And, there's so many things that people are feeling shifts from. And it's like, talk. We need to talk. We need to reflect on our own responses to things. And we also need to get a better understanding of ourselves and also of the world that we live in. And so that's what debriefing is. And we're talking about it in the context of maternity. And it's like, actually, yeah, we still have to exist in this world, and we need to understand how we can do that within the sort of parameters that exist in the perinatal sphere. So, it's really quite exciting to be able to kind of bring people onto that plane where it's like, no, don't limits don't exist here, and titles don't exist here. We don't say we only need to debrief trauma, we only need to debrief death. We just need to normalize the act of debriefing experiences to get a deeper understanding of ourselves. And so it's such an important thing to be able to do, but also it's an absolute privilege for me to be the person that is encouraging people to do it, as well as many others that are doing the same.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, when you say it's a privilege because I mean, you're a profound educator, midwife, I know there's a whole long list of accolades behind you, but the privilege of being able to sit with people, and talk about these deep rooted, sometimes, harsh, and sometimes confusing, conflicting things, but also you're helping the professional navigate this world simultaneously. That's what just came to my mind, because as professionals, we're also reaching limitations in our world as well. So do you find that as you're teaching the professional, they're also sort of doing a somewhat of a debriefing and undoing to sort of help and support others as well?
Yeah. And, I think it really, part of the work that I do when I educate in this manner is that
Yeah.
I want to just encourage you to ask yourself the questions that perhaps you haven't. And so many people think that they have to perhaps unlearn things. And it's like, no, we're not going backwards, we're going forward. So we're just evolving in our knowledge. And so I'm sharing something with you so that you can keep growing with it. And that's what I want from you. I want people to go, so I knew this, but I didn't know it like this. And then this is how I can use it in my own practice. And so, one of the sort of key messages is that as educators, as professionals, whether that's midwives, IBCLCs, doulas, anything like that, we are not above growth and evolving in our knowledge, but also evolving in our offerings. And so sometimes, it can be, I actually want to be doing more. And it's like, well, maybe you are a person that can hold that space too. So, I'm really looking forward to doing this talk to see if that kind of brings things up for people that they can then reflect on and take into their own practice, whatever it is.
Yeah, this is an incredible tool if you think about it, because there are multiple aspects of where you can utilize it, because you could be the professional who sits down and does birth debriefing. But what I'm really hearing you saying is that in essence, this is something that, is going to help you in every aspect and every area of what you do especially as a healthcare professional, a counselor, which is what a lot of us do. We do a lot of counseling work, with our families as well. So it's almost like, the growth factor is for ourselves, but also to help our families look at things differently as well as they continue to go. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also to help us as professionals to kind of go, okay, well, when we're the professional, often we just hold that space for other people, but who holds it for us? And so sometimes it's like, actually, I need to look inwards at what my own needs are. And maybe I need a reflective space, and maybe I need to debrief things that I experience as well. So really, it kind of is, I would look at it as sort of being a bit of a sphere shape of going, everything can be reflected on and everything can be debriefed. I am not an observer, but I'm actually within this. And this applies to me as an individual, as well as what I offer out to families. So, it's a real full circle.
Right. Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah. No wonder. I mean, I know when people were asking for you to come back, it was because of your talk, which is also, of course, on Gold Learning. People can go check it out over there as well. This presentation, The Power of Reflection, Effective Birth Debriefing for Better Outcomes, which is something that we're all looking for. Thank you so much, Illiyin. You're always an inspiration having you here. I do want to mention, because if you want to, Illiyin, where do people reach you? Where's your website right now? Because I know you've got some things coming up there too.
Yeah, so my website is www.mixingupmotherhood.com, and you'll find my teaching. So I'm running a masterclass this year in debriefing, so to further your skills, and you'll find access to my book, but also my services as well in terms of birth and in terms of birth and grief debriefing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, we're so lucky. We're going to have you on Gold Midwifery this year as well. So folks can head over to our website, goldmidwifery.com, to schedule in the time that we're going to be spending with you. You're going to be live at our conference this year, which is really exciting once again, which gives you an opportunity as a viewer to come on in and listen and collaborate and learn with Lillian alongside us. We'll also be doing a live Q&A as well. Now, if you can't make the actual live event, of course, it will be recorded for your convenience, and we will look forward to seeing you online. Thank you so much once again to Illiyin Morrison for being with us here today, and of course to all of our viewers. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye for now, everyone.